and I'm just scouring the internet streets for more viable independent
Uh,
news sources
well, that's
too as
fair.
well.
You know what? You answered that question a lot better than Sarah Palin did. So that was good.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness.
You
But
Yeah,
know, there are a number of really good independent Substacks, and
yes.
you can you, it's just hard to find.
Great
But
point. Great point.
that's true. Substack's great. Medium's great. The Atlantic. I love the writers at the Atlantic. They always have good stuff.
I
Dr.
forgot about
Francine
the
was
Atlantic. Yes.
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Atlantic
and
You
was
know
Philip
what?
really
And
Puffin
good.
has
that's
it.
you know what? There are some good oligarchs. you know, Steve Jobs' widow owns the Atlantic, and she's been doing it right. And I mean that's one of the things is that we have to get our people that understand democracy, like Mark Cuban, and organized to create a defense against what's happening. I think one of the really effective things that they could do is pay for some of the legal defenses of some of these people. Uh, so that's an idea. Anyway, thanks a lot, Charlotte. Appreciate it. I wanted to go to
Oh,
Rick, but
I
before,
wanted to just
yeah,
share
go
some
ahead, and then I want to do a little
personal news.
housekeeping. But go ahead.
Sorry, some personal news. My one of my business ventures got selected to be a finalist for one of the largest
Yay!
venture funds for women in
Good
the
for
world.
you.
Just
Wowza.
thank,
Congratulations.
thank you
So,
guys.
is this a media film kind of project?
Nope, this isn't. Not this one in particular, but it's yeah. So I started 3 years ago a body care company that evolved actually from a media thing, but the basis of the company is now kind of evolved into really being a social enterprise for domestic violence survivors. I integrate survivors from, because I am one, from our supply chain down to our brick and mortar location. So it's actually pretty cool. I opened up our first location, and I've actually helped a domestic violence victim get housing, believe it or not, at my retail location, have bonded and met other survivors here. And so I'm exploring opening potentially a second location, hopefully in one of the, either JFK or Newark. So that's kind of brewing around. But yes, and also what makes my company unique is that the brick and mortar location is really it's really a commerce platform for not just my CPG brand, but I've also now brought in 30 other CPG brands that are headed by domestic violence survivors. So really creating like this regenerative economic ecosystem for survivors in terms of commerce.
Mm, interesting. That's great. Well, congratulations. We love that.
Thank you.
Did you love
All
the
right,
movie
before
The
we go to
Maze,
Rick, I
Charlotte?
do want to just we're getting into the closing comments, pearls of wisdom. So I turned off. I think we're going to keep the hand raising off so that we don't have any confusion. So in the future, if any of you regulars want to come up, put your hand up or say something in the chat, and we'll bring you up. So if anybody wants to do a last minute comment, stick your hand up, and we'll bring you up. But in the meantime, we're going to go to Rick, and then this will be sort of the beginning of the closing comments, pearls of wisdom, getting ready for Friday business. Ricardo, Mr. Oxnard.
Yeah, I listen. I'm driving and I can't really talk, but I've been listening.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes, be safe. And then don't use these automatic cars things. I'm sure you, you don't have one right now. So, okay. All right. Closing comments, pearls of wisdom. We've got, why don't we go to David? David Jacobson, you have any closing comment, pearls of wisdom?
Oh, I don't know if I have anything awesome. I had I was doing a flower delivery for a friend whose delivery driver got sick at her flower shop, and one of the deliveries was at the state capitol, and
Yeah.
it's after I
Had
did
you
it,
ever been there
I
before?
returned to the flower shop and I was like, yeah, I went to the speaker of the house. I had to deliver it all the way in there, so it's like a pretty annoying uh park pretty far away, have to go through the metal detectors. I was describing like the process to get in. She's like, they just let you in the Capitol? I was like, this is someone in her mid 20s. And I was like, well, she said she hadn't been in there since like her middle school field trip. I go, actually, it's open to the public, but at every one of the cardinal entrances, there's a DPS, Texas Department of Public Safety, the kind of like highway patrol people. I think it would be a chip in California, right? Well, maybe not highway, only in Texas. Anyway, they have, an assault rifle and three guys. All of them are armed as
Whoa.
officers. And so the Capitol's pretty secure here, but people don't go to it. People don't go, they don't
Can,
even know
can
that
can
they have
people do
access to
open?
the government. But
Can citizens do open carry in the government buildings?
no, no, what are you talking about? No way.
I don't know. Texas is
All right,
fucking
you'll just ask
crazy.
the question and get the answer, but don't throw it back up there as if it's questionable. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was in over Thanksgiving weekend. I happened to be in Fort Worth, had to drop something off at a post office, so I'm, using the electronic devices. Driving through downtown, I just go, oh, let's go to a post office. And same thing, it's just a federal building. You have to go through a metal detector. I mean, I
Yeah.
assume a lot of federal buildings have security,
Yeah.
and our state
It's,
building would be much like that. So, um,
it's
anyway,
just
back to my observation was young people may not have the experiences or even just know anything about their government, or that yes, you can go to the Capitol. You don't have to have any special pass. You can walk around. Once it's a secure place, then you can walk around until you go into a place that they say, nope, access is controlled from this point forward. Um, but it is the people's house, is what I was trying to say. Is if it's not ours, who else? Who should have access to the Capitol?
there you go. All right, the news from Texas. Okay, let's go to Dr. Francine. Closing comments, pearls of wisdom.
Can I share one quick snippet before Francine goes? Francine, is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, no, go ahead, do
Of
your
For,
turn.
course.
for the first time in history, there will be no women or people of color leading any congressional House committees.
Wow,
If
that's
you
pretty
are a
major.
voter, think on that.
Yep, that says everything.
I should say qualified women or people of color.
And who chooses that? Is that MAGA Mike? Who's got the ultimate control over
Yeah, I
committees?
think so. I think so. Well, for the House, it is. He's the last word. Francine.
Yes, I think I'm going to put my head in the sand. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to watch this for 4 years because if I keep on watching it for 4 years, I'm going to get sadder and sadder, and
Yeah.
eventually going to affect my physical health, which is precarious at my age as it is. So I think I'm going to. I mean, the inauguration will probably be my um, the last thing I watch.
Oh,
For,
geez, I'm not watching. You're gonna watch it, really?
well, I don't know. It depends on how boring it is. I mean, I
Yeah.
might not be able to watch it just because be so completely tedious because all of those, you know, all of those tech billionaires are bad speakers. I've heard them all before, and
Yeah.
every single one of them is boring. So,
Well, I'm like Michelle. I am boycotting. I refuse to watch anything live, and I'm gonna avoid it, even if it's on tape. There's nothing. There's no upside to it. It's just
right.
disgusting.
It's
There's not.
just it
No
just
matter
makes you
what you
feel
look at,
bad.
the performers are performing for a rapist. It's like this is fucking crazy. It's unbelievable. And it's like I'll never get over it. It's
And it's
just
all getting blamed on boomers, which is you guys.
I know.
Oh,
Exactly.
can
We
I
take
Mitch McConnell's
we
not
take
a boomer.
responsibility. Hmm?
oh, guys, I was just gonna say, can I just say one little thing? I just realized that I should have
Sure.
said. Um,
Go ahead.
the way for us to get through the next 4 years is commerce. If we that was I'm sorry, that was the inspiration for my other business that I started. I realized seriously, no, if so
You're
my
such a
vision
good capitalist. I love this. Go
That's
no,
ahead.
their
it's
trick.
yeah, well, no, the reason why I'm saying commerce is our way out. We have to think, because commerce is the only way that the oligarchs have been able to get access now. Obviously it's very painfully obvious. So
Yeah.
for me, I decided that if I could gather at least 100 businesses that were domestic violence, that was started by domestic violence survivors, 100 of us, and we created, and we're moving on a commerce platform that we're, let's say eventually we all generate at least $1 million each, and now we're collectively generating $100 million in revenue. That is power, unfortunately, in this world. But we're all aligned on the fact that we all want we all want to see legislation that benefits survivors of domestic violence. But now we can move as an economic group, and now we can probably have appointed representatives that represent our interest, and that person will get access to the White House to push through our agendas. That's the only way I see as a way out of the next 4 years, is forming economic blocks of
Well,
interest.
that's interesting because that's a very positive outlook. That's constructive looking forward. But the other end of that is boycotts, and I think that you can do both. You support people who pro democracy, people who are doing good things for the environment, and we help them and support them in their efforts, in their economic efforts. But the other side is there should be nobody who believes in democracy or believes in progressive things that should ever buy anything from that's related to Elon Musk or Bezos or Zuckerberg. Period. We need to stop, because as much as they've been red pilled, their customers have not been red pilled. And I think if every progressive, every Democrat, anybody who's anti-Trump turns in their Teslas and does not buy a Tesla, I think that would be an impact. I don't think anybody should be buying Teslas. We should shut that thing down. We should be actually striking and protesting Tesla wherever it is, whether it's a place that sells them, whether it's a factory, whether it's a battery factory. We should. It's he is evil, and he needs to be stopped. So anyway, Andrew, you're up.
Thank you,
Closing
Ben.
comment, pearls of wisdom.
Yeah, I just want to wish everybody a great weekend. And I was looking at the lineup for the inauguration, some of the performers, and I'm going to suggest that the Village People change their name to the Village Idiots. And
Are they on the list?
yes, they are. Yes, they
Oh
are.
my
Which
Which I
would
find
make
it,
it
god!
awesome to
I
have
kind of
the
find it
YMCA
surprising.
song
Hmm?
Yeah,
playing with
because
the
I
Village
thought
Yeah,
they've been
Idiots.
even though he uses YMCA, I thought that they were sort of like
they didn't
not
like him doing
supporting
it,
it.
or either that, or
That's
he
what
didn't
I
pay for
understood.
it
They
and he
didn't like
wanted.
him doing it, but I
Yeah,
didn't realize that they were
And he
actually.
bought them.
yeah.
Oh, he did.
So
Oh, geez,
anyway, the
that's
Village
very
Idiots
sad.
are like it.
Okay,
Have a
I
good
hate
one.
that. Thanks, Andrew. All right, Sue. Closing comment, pearls of wisdom.
Well, I just want to utter everybody else's sentiments here. I'm with you, Ben. I don't think I'm going to stomach watching that on at all. I don't want to give it my airtime. Um, I want to find something better to do with my time, something more positive. Sola, I want to tell you that that was inspirational of how we can fight back and what we can do to be proactive, because this let's wait and see really bothers me, because I think part of why we're in the place that we are is because we've waited and saw, and now we're here. Um, Not that there's a whole lot that we can do, but we can, as Sola has suggested. I the thought, look, I'm speechless. What can I say? I'm absolutely speechless, and I just wish everybody a good weekend. And I look forward to seeing you here on Monday morning.
Thank you, Sue. I really appreciate it. Kyle, you're up. Closing comment, pearls of wisdom.
Just quickly, I love Dr. James. He's amazing. I was definitely not going against what he was speaking about. I was just talking about the focal points of power and who is actually implementing these policies within the religious institutions. And by moving forward for the next 4 years, I'd say potluck dinners are probably a really good idea. They're great for building community and actually getting people together. People are cooking. With for one another and sitting down and enjoying a meal and building community, because you wouldn't believe how many young people are out there today on their phones so alone, that would love to be invited to a potluck dinner. So I'm just thinking that instead of fighting the boogeyman or fighting the oligarchs or fighting whatever, actually build community, actually have a potluck dinner, actually go out to a show like you're going out to tonight at the amphitheater and have a great time with friends and family and loved ones.
Thanks. I
Because when I
appreciate it.
travel and I've been to countries where there have been terrible rulers and terrible institutions, but yet when I would look around, I could see people in community, in love, um, and living in compassion, even though they are being ruled by shitty people. So that's what people in America can do as well if they take the initiative.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. All right, we're gonna go to let's see. We're gonna do Scott, Andrea, and then Dr. James, and then L. If you'd like, I'm gonna let you be the caboose today, if that's okay. So, Scott, the Right Reverend Scott, closing comment, pearls of wisdom.
I'll probably watch the inauguration because it's like reality TV. It's like watching pro wrestling or something like that. I find it, it's like
So
free
you're gonna
porn.
watch it, so we don't have to.
Yeah, it's like free pornography. It's so terrible that I find it. It's like a train wreck. You can't not watch.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Blessed Shabbos, and yeah, have a great time.
All
Thanks.
right. Thanks, Scott. All right, Andrea, closing comment, pearls of wisdom. Andrea. Oh, and
From across the room. Uh, I
yeah,
I think shout out to Charla for the economic blocks, going back to the guild society, amassing power in guilds and economic blocks. I love it. There's also, people that are striking. I think Ben, you might have mentioned that. There's also, if you don't have a lot of time and you want to donate, you can donate to the ACLU, to Democracy Docket, Mark Elias,
that'd be great.
support the independent journalist Kara Swisher and Scott. Well, Kara Swisher in particular, having knowing Elon quite well, and has been following Trump for a while. Her podcast, and she's also now commenting. Podcast is on, and then with Scott Galloway, it's called Pivot, and
Hmm.
then she's also on. Commenting on CNN across the board and some others.
She's
She's
really good.
yeah, she's leading a bunch of work out of Georgetown and even John Hopkins on AI and starting to plug into the global AI governance community. Anyway, that's a lot of information. But there's so many groups. You could start getting ready for the midterm elections. You could pay attention. It's all on the block again. And this is the time to
Yeah,
you
it's
can
never too early.
yeah
Yep.
vote about it, support the civil society groups, a few of them, and then it's the activists, the people who've been doing this stuff for years are are geared up for it.
Yeah.
So you can donate there uh, and get involved in the upcoming elections. And I don't know what to do about the information ecosystem, but I do think that's going to be a focus uh, of how to fix that, how to repair that. In the meantime, as Kyle says, hold on to your community and loved ones deeply. Couple of community stories. A friend that I only met because he works at the local Laughing Man Cafe that Scotty from Clubhouse and I often meet at downtown here in New York. Charlotte has been there with me. He looked a bit unwell and he was leaving. He quit his shift early. And his name's Boris. And I said, "What, you look terrible. Are you okay?" And he said, "I have to go home. I'm not feeling well." And then the more I looked at him, I said, can I get in a cab and go with you to the emergency room to make sure you get there okay?" I just had a little extra time in my morning and we just hopped in a cab and I went with him, make sure, handed him over. I didn't invade his privacy. I handed him over to the he didn't need an ambulance, but I spoke to him later. Miraculously, he was at work a week later. He was indeed having a heart attack. So, just saying small little things. If you have 5 minutes and you see people around you not doing well, and you feel safe enough to reach out, that's something we can do. And of course, we can be inspired by the mutual aid and the people coming together in LA. I mean, no matter whether there are screwed up stories coming out of there, we should focus and hold on to the good. One note about giving in California, it's great to give things because they need clothing but really the best thing you can do is give to the very hyper local groups, and giving cash if you have it is best, but do whatever you can do, but that is often most helpful because then people get a lot of stuff, it's not needed. It's a lot to manage and organize, and when you do that, it's best to give it to extremely local groups who have their pulse on the situation as it's evolving, and so that's how you can kind of give well in that area. And then if anyone needs, I have a friend who's plugged into the insurance update in California. If you want to DM me, he got some information on what they're actually doing on property tax now.
There you
Have a
go.
good
Well,
weekend.
thank you, Andrea. Okay, Dr. James and then L, and then we'll call it a day. Dr.
Uh,
James,
yeah,
you're up.
I'd like to close out the week with some breaking news that just came in. The FDA has officially banned red dye number 3, green
Okay.
M&Ms, silk pajamas, and Luther Vandross album, citing overwhelming evidence that 3 out of 4 of these significantly increase randiness, as measured by the groundbreaking Mojo to midichlorian hemoglobin ratio. A spokesperson stated, "We can't have the nation teetering on the edge of a sultry apocalypse. The science is clear, folks. And frankly, Luther Vandross is just too powerful. Green M&Ms were unavailable to comment, but sources close to the candy said, 'We've always known we were the sexy ones.'"
There you
From The Onion, I presume.
go.
From James Curley's brain.
There you go. All right, L, you're up.
Was
L.
that a joke about the silk pajamas, or is that real?
That's it.
The whole
Really,
thing
the
was
whole thing is a joke built around banning red dye number 3.
Yeah,
Okay, good, good.
the whole thing was a joke, Kyle. I'm gonna go eat some green M&Ms right now. Yeah, I wanted to just, since Scotty's not here, I will share what he shared with me this morning, which is really fun and really cool, which is that on January 30th, there's going to be a Fire Aid benefit concert for you youngers. That's what we've been doing for a long time, putting on big benefit concerts in these situations. So it will be the Fire Aid benefit concert. I am hoping maybe Scotty and I will stream the actual concert, but we're talking about Billie Eilish and Phineas, Dave Matthews, Earth, Wind and Fire, Green Day, Gwen Stefani, Jelly Roll, Joni Mitchell,
Wow,
Katy
that's
Perry, Lady
crazy.
Gaga, Lil Baby, Pink, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rod Stewart, Stephen Stills, Stevie Nicks, Sting, to mention a few. So I'm excited for that. Wish I could go. I'm looking at seeing whether there's a way to actually be there. For those of you who are in LA, it would be amazing to be there in person, but we can stream it. And I'd like to try to do a room to so we can share that. Those are the kinds of things that I find really inspiring and beautiful. And to piggyback up what you said, Andrea, I mean, yeah, I mean, I wish you were here in real life to help me. I mean, the kind of thing that Andrea just described was not her flexing, but her saying, when we see somebody and we've got that little bit of extra to give, like jumping in and making sure the guy got to the ER, that's the stuff we can do. I keep repeating this, what I was told a long time ago, which is that action is the antidote to despair. I'll repeat it. Action is the antidote to despair. So, whatever we can do personally, that is self empowering and it helps all of us. We are going to need to be collective. The stuff that Dr. Marcus was talking about earlier was about being collective in bringing some kind of neutrality to the net, real neutrality. And we can be collective in how we deal with the TikTok thing, finding other platforms. That's what Substack is. Substack is becoming a new platform to exchange content and ideas that isn't TikTok or Insta or X. So these are the things that keep me happy and excited and wanting to still hang out here. Everybody stay safe emotionally over the weekend. As Andrea would say, fasten your seatbelt. I think it's going to be an intense weekend, but we all have agency and we can listen to music, read books, go for a walk, be with friends, make it a safe and nurturing and nourishing weekend. Love all
I-
of you.
And I think they're trying to promote Blue Sky as well. They're trying to see how that can evolve as a new
Yes.
platform. As an alternative to Twitter. But I am a big fan of the in-person events with art and music, and that I think Global Citizen might be involved in that concert that you're talking about, Elle. And yeah, I'm super excited about that. Billie Eilish is really amping it up in terms of what she's doing on so many different issues. And of course, gosh, Joni Mitchell. I mean, she's just been at the forefront of the folk music, uh,
Oh,
movement.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. When I went to celebrate Evan's 40th birthday in LA in last this past June, that some of you guys helped me make happen, actually, he took me to the Laurel Canyon Cafe, which is where Joni wrote most of her music, as did Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. So yes, she is absolutely at the center of that community.
Go see A Complete Unknown if you want. It's less about the civil rights movement and more about Bob Dylan. And it's fascinating to watch Timothy Chalamet try to bring his character to life, which I actually think he does a good job. But it's just it's more about the music and the art and the business and how it changes artists or not, and artists' independence about what they create and where they go and how that gets mixed up with the business. But there's a backdrop about civil rights movement. It also brings out the purity of these movements sometimes and how that actually undermines them and makes them a little less effective over time. But it's a good entertaining thing to do if you need distraction. Also
A
watch
plus plus.
Conclave was so good. I recommend
Wait a
everyone
second.
check it out.
What movie were you just mentioning? Was it the
A,
Bob
a
Dylan
com-
movie?
yeah, a complete unknown. Did you not like it, Kyle?
Oh, I loved it, but I think, I don't know if Bob Dylan, because he's Christian, right? I don't know if he had a little bit too much influence in what they showed and what they didn't show. They
No,
Actually,
didn't,
I
did
don't
they?
no,
think it's not a documentary. Facts. It's not a documentary.
No,
It
I
is.
know. I know it's a Hollywood movie, but it's very watered down, and the character development was very poor within the movie itself. Like he was a philosopher. He was like a revolutionary figure, and I think they dropped the ball at really showing the impact that Bob Dylan had on society and his philosophical inclinations, right? Like I put a quote because I went to the movie recently and was re-inspired by Bob Dylan, and I grew up learning about him in my life. And he was a real philosopher. He thought that there are so many phonies and lies all around America, And I just don't think that they did a good enough job about the character development to show the true revolutionary figure that he actually was. But I do agree with everything that you.
I
There
mean,
you go.
yeah.
Kyle, I'll send you some documentaries of Bob Dylan that actually cover that. This was meant to be a piece of time. It was placed in time for a certain thing. It was not his whole life or his whole. And I also want to correct the fact of his being a Christian. He
Side
actually
of
went
it
through a
or anything.
period
I just
of
am
becoming a
interested
Messianic Christian and then
to
going
hear
back to
stuff.
his Jewish
So
roots and becoming
there's
a
obviously, and I
devout
don't know
Orthodox
too much
Jew.
about it.
He's
I've
been through a
been
number of
watching the
evolutions
news.
on that path.
I sit in South Africa, so I think we
Thank you
get
for that.
a lot
I
of
was going to
skewed
say that as well.
information.
It's just
Um,
Anyway,
but
interesting
look.
the
again,
behaviors that they
with the
kept out of the
ceasefire,
movie.
I
Sorry.
mean,
Well,
is
it's like
there
she
part?
said, it's a small slice. It was only a 3 or 4 year period of his time. So those things that you're talking about happen at other times. So it's not quite fair to say that. Anyway, we gotta go. We're 6 minutes over. It's great to see everybody. Thank you all for participating and this and I want to see some more